Hey guys, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell to be updated every time I make a new video. Thanks, let's begin. Bigger, smarter, faster, meaner, older. Deep Blue Sea. This is the 1999 big-budget B-movie from director Renny Harlin, who also directed Prison, A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master, Die Hard 2, Cliffhanger, the new Strangers trilogy, and the upcoming shark film, Deep Water. Hoping that one's at least decent. It was written by Wayne and Donna Powers, as well as Duncan Kennedy, who also did additional writing on Bait from 2012. It is also this film's 25th anniversary. Huzzah! Makes me feel old too. Don't worry, we can be old together. The plot. It was just missing the secret ingredient. The cure to Alzheimer's disease was just out of reach, so it seemed. While testing on mako sharks, a massive breakthrough occurs. Not only in the science of it all, but through their observation window. The glass barrier keeping the fish from entering the wet lab, and then the complex itself. Uh-oh.
Someone order the fish?
Now chaos and carnage ensue. It's Jurassic Park in an underwater research facility. Now, there's nothing wrong with that per se. I actually love that idea. Jaws meets Jurassic Park, but rated R. I'm all here for it. As were the producers, so it seemed. Warner Brothers wanted this to be a hit, and even listened heavily to test audiences who didn't like the ending. There were risks involved if they didn't change it, that's for sure. The movie is large in scale and scope, but it never loses sight of how big it really is. It never gets too big for its britches, and it never loses sight at what it is. A ridiculous, fun creature feature. I first saw this film when I was around 7, 8 years old. I then saw Alien and Wolfen because I was like, if I could see that rated R movie, then why can't I see these rated R movies? I'm already 8 years old. Man, did I realize the difference between a rated PG movie and a rated R movie. Well, 70s PG I knew was different. Deep Blue Sea was like forbidden fruit. I remember having to decide between this film and a bag of salt and vinegar chips. I chose wisely, but before that, I actually chose another film that came out around the same time about sharks. Shark Attack. Yeah, I chose that one because I thought to myself, I was like, this seems like a lower-end shark film. I don't think it'll be on shelves for very long. I'll go with this one. I'm sure Deep Blue Sea will be around a lot longer because it's a big-budget Hollywood film. I was a smart kid when it came to movies, but that does mean my first R-rated shark film was Shark Attack. Deep Blue Sea was second. I made sure of that. My favorite R-rated shark film has always been Deep Blue Sea, though. For the characters, we have Carter Blake, played by Thomas Jane, who was also in 2004's The Punisher, The Mist, and Into the Grizzly Maze. You thought I was going to say The Predator, didn't you? Ha! Anyway, he is our shark wrangler. He does not know how to tame them per se, not that he would ever be able to, nor anyone for that matter. But he can get on their backs and ride them without their consent, you dirty dog, you. He has a past where he was not the greatest kid growing up. He was always getting into trouble, the cool, bad kid of the school.
I never went to class.
He is not the shining example of being a hero, but he does know how to survive when and where it counts. Susan McAllister, played by Saffron Burrows, genetically altered the sharks. Brilliant.
Exactly how many sticks of dynamite would you have to set off in your ears before your head cleared?
It seemed like they were only getting enhancements in size. No, not down there, you dirty dogs. But now not only are they bigger, faster, and meaner, but they're smarter too. I don't want to spoil too much. I mean, I know this film is 25 years old, but there are still some people who haven't seen it that want to check out a review to see if it was good or not, or if it was even worth their time, and they don't want to be spoiled by everything, but let's just say she didn't follow protocol. Preacher, played by LL Cool J from Halloween H2O 20 years later, or Halloween 7. Or 3, depending on how you look at the timeline. He is the cook at the base, and is way more than just comedic relief. He knows the threat is serious and why the reason behind it is wrong. He does have some funny moments, but he also has a couple of really badass moments too. Russell Franklin, played by Samuel L. Jackson, who at this point was in Jurassic Park and Die Hard with a Vengeance, is the financier's aide. The financier is actually played by Ronny Cox in a non-speaking role. Interesting choice. He is sent there to oversee how the project is going, how they're coming along. He also has a past where he was in an avalanche, and only a few people, including himself, made it out. He learned how to survive after that.
I wouldn't get that close if I were you. Just a suggestion.
To the team at Aquatica, he seems like he's just another businessman. A rich suit. He soon shows he's not just a useless individual who would be only worried about numbers and stock prices when it comes to being a businessman. His business in this predicament is surviving. Tom Scoggins, played by Michael Rappaport, is the one who leans more towards the comedic relief side of things for this film. He has some questionable remarks that are indeed too soon.
Okay, Jan was a healthy girl. Something in here has to run on batteries. Nice.
He is also the chief technical advisor of Aquatica. Aquatica is the name of the base. I don't think I've mentioned that yet. I love that name. Anyway, Janice Higgins, played by Jacqueline McKenzie, works alongside Dr. Jim Whitlock, who is played by Stellan Skarsgård, who was in the 2 Exorcist prequels that were also directed by Rennie Harlin. And he was also in Dune Parts 1 and 2. The new ones. They are a couple and, in a deleted scene, are possibly expecting. Janice is supposedly pregnant, which makes certain scenes all the more shocking.
I don't want to die!
Grab my hand! Come on! Come on!
I can't! Help!
It's a small cast of characters in a claustrophobic setting. The base, Aquatica, seems to be worn and beaten before the chaos even ensues. It's not polished, but rather shows signs of being used. And abused. I love the setting. It's downright creepy. You can always hear some sort of rattling or moaning and creaking of the walls and pipes within the infrastructure, as well as the solid wall of noise that the outside water brings. It's an underwater facility for the most part, so therefore the rooms are dim, and the hallways have no windows. There's barely any light underground. I also kind of wondered what it would look like looking out the observation window in the daytime. You could probably see everything. The cage that holds the sharks and the sharks themselves. Would have been a creepy touch to have in the film, but it wouldn't have taken away from the reveal of the lab when due time came.
Welcome to my parlor, Mr. Franklin.
Wow. Also, speaking of the vast blackness of the sea, is part of what gave me thalassophobia. The other part is the sharks, because Aquatica is basically a prison with sharks, or a prison for the people inside. They're trapped, whether they want to be or not, shark or human. There's also this religious aspect to the film that is handled beautifully, I thought. Not only is Preacher a man of faith, but the hatch that he and the remaining survivors have to get to literally has bolts in the shape of a cross.
Come on, let's go! Give me an amen!
As the water rises, they near salvation. For the gore, the effects, people are torn to pieces in this flick. We get terrified technicians torn in two. A middle money man mauled and munched. And excessive explosions of the eco and electric kind, as well as ridiculous radiuses of red water. Is my alliteration getting kind of annoying? The sharks in this movie are short fin makos, and therefore are ugly bastards, especially because they're genetically altered. I actually own a model of the shark, done by Creature Preacher, on Etsy. Go check him out, he makes quality work. It's made out of wood or some sort of material like that. He's ugly. He ain't happy. These black demons and the shark from Jaws are the reason I have had thalassophobia since an early age. Don't hate me! I hate dark water. Even in the pool sometimes I'm like, oh wait, till I can turn on the light. They're a menace to my mind. Yet I love their designs. The animatronic shark work is amazing. These are better looking sharks that move more gracefully than the shark from Jaws ever could.
Bad dream?
The CGI, for the most part, it's fine. Most of it doesn't look god-awful, but certain parts did need improving, and probably a little bit more time to cook. The water effects like waves and such, in terms of CGI, are rough, because they were just figuring this stuff out. The motion picture soundtrack, Trevor Rabin created my personal second favorite score from any shark film, right behind Jaws, and right before Jaws 2. It's amazing how it's able to feel aquatic and industrial at the same time. I love when underwater movie music has that kind of quality and is given that treatment. All the tracks stand out to me. This CD I have here only has 10 tracks. I hope to get the expanded version in the near future. Money's a bit tight right now, but hopefully soon. The nautical noise is so well done. It helps you distinguish that it's not just Jurassic Park. This is underwater. So there's going to be different sounds. No jungle sounds, water sounds. Okay, so it's Jurassic Park in the middle of the ocean. What do you want from me?
Don't need to get all carried away. Showing me your vengeful side. I know your wrath.
Speaking of Jurassic Park, that's what Warner Brothers hoped this film would be. With its R rating and high concept, it was only going to pull in so much. It didn't even break 200 million. It cost around 60 to 80 million dollars to make. Not sure if that's before or after marketing. Not a huge profit. Video sales are probably much better, because I heard kids talking about this film when it was out on video in my elementary school. The hype was real. When I first watched it, I absolutely loved the damn thing. You bet your honey. The plan was to have my dad watch it first, much like he did with Carnosaur, to see if it was okay for me to watch. Well, joke's on him. I watched it the next day after he did. Thanks, Momster. He was going to cover my ears because of the swearing when it came up. Never mind the violence. As you can see, I've had a long history with this movie. About 25 years, to be honest. Not as long as Jaws, but almost. Hell, I remember my parents trying to hide this from me. Like when the TV spots came on TV, they would switch the channel, because they knew I loved sharks. But this was rated R. Does that mean that this is a perfect shark movie, or even movie in general? Well, no. It's got its problems. I'm not going to let nostalgia blind me. The CGI is dated for the most part. The science is crazy ridiculous, even for science fiction. There are some elements that don't work, like people holding their breath for incredible amounts of time. I mean, I could see one of them doing it, but the few survivors that there are, trying to come to the surface 60 feet down, I don't think all of them would have made it. Especially because the shark tries to attack them, and all the bubbles come out, and they're still climbing up. But I still recommend seeing this movie. I mean, many have. It doesn't hurt to suggest. It's a fun, ridiculous summer blockbuster of the 90s kind. Overall, I give Deep Blue Sea a 3 out of 5. That's a half a point lower than my original rating on my other channel, but still, I had to look at some things differently. I had a different opinion after all. That's going to do it for this video, guys. You've been watching Sharkcast Entertainment, and I've been your host, Brian Gatto. Make sure to like, comment, as well as share this video. Like my Facebook fan page and support me on Patreon. Also hit the notification bell to be notified every time I make a new video, and as always, subscribe. No, wait. No. Wait. I'm pregnant. Ah!